It is a fantastic Friday here on Three Man Front. My name is Landrum Roberts. That's Molly Robinson, the pride of Maplesville, Alabama, soon to be married. Damian Mitchell. Dee is hanging out. Pat Smith's going to be back on Monday. Conrad Van Order at some point next week, I believe on Tuesday, because he is moving. He and his wife, proud new owners of a home, which is awesome. And we're going to go and enjoy that home once they get all settled in and we don't have to help do anything.
Well, reminder that flu season is here, so make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. It's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go and find a dealer near you at Trane.com.
Catching you up on Olympic action, we have men's semifinal hockey going on later on this afternoon. You got the United States in action. The puck will drop shortly after 2 o'clock Central Time, I believe. Is that right, Molly? I think. Also yesterday, of course, the U.S. women, they win gold in overtime, dramatic fashion as they knock off the Canadians. And what a run it has been for U.S. women's hockey. Megan Keller with the winning goal. But the U.S. women's hockey team, 7-0 record throughout the Olympics, 33-2 goal differential. 352-minute shutout streak, 5 goals in 6 straight games. They beat the Canadians twice. They win another gold. That is their third in their team history. United States, they win gold. So that's great. You also had Jordan Stoltz. Boy, that Chinese guy was really, really fast. Jordan Stoltz, he gets silver. And then, of course, Molly's favorite, Alyssa Liu, becomes the first American woman since 2006 to medal in figure skating, the first since 2002 to win gold. She bested Japan's Kaori Sakamoto, who got silver. That is your Olympic update. And Mike Rodak, who knows a little bit about the Olympics because he's in the Northeast, and I stereotype because it's cold up there. Mike, welcome in.
Hey, doing well. I was just, talking about houses and all that. I was just researching. Should I scalp my zoysia in the spring? Is that
Yes.
what you're supposed to do? Okay.
Yeah, so have you already added, for those of you, me and Mike, we both have zoysia in our yard, and we enjoy taking care of our yard. Pat likes to take care of his yard. But, yeah, zoysia, you're going to scalp it here. Have you put out the pre-emergent yet?
Not yet. I have that on my list. So
Okay.
I have a notes app on my phone, and I have it all laid out when I do what time of year.
Yeah.
I just write down the checklist.
Yeah, so I threw out my pre-emergent a few days ago, but I'm going to do the scalping. And you've got a little bit of time. You got probably in the next week, but I would definitely go ahead and get that done.
I will take note. Thank you.
Yeah, and send me pictures of the zoysia. I want to see the progress. I remember when you planted it.
Yeah,
You laid it,
it's golden brown and delicious right now.
Oh, that's right. Mike, we're going to get into Alabama, but how much of the Olympics, I found myself, I don't know a whole lot about hockey. Maybe you know a lot more about hockey or you've watched it longer than I have, but I found myself sitting in traffic yesterday. I had the feed of the game going. U.S. women, they knock off Canada in overtime, and I'm going crazy at a red light.
I saw it on Twitter. I wasn't watching. I think I watched maybe 2014. Was that TJ Oshie had the shootout goal, and I remember watching that live. And I don't remember the last few Olympics. I like I said, I just don't really. I don't get into it that much, but I saw it on Twitter. I was happy. Hockey is big in Buffalo, definitely. It's big in Boston. In fact, the night before I interviewed with ESPN for my Bills job, I went to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Bruins, and it went to double overtime. So I was out until about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. by the time I got back.
Was that a White Castle night, Mike?
It was not a White Castle night, but I did have to drive 2 hours the next morning to Bristol, Connecticut, and interview for that job, probably on 3 hours of sleep after the Bruins went to the Stanley Cup that year, 2013.
And you got the job.
You got the job.
Yeah. That's awesome. Mike Rodak joining us. We're going to talk Alabama. Boy, the other night, try to remember a game like that. We've had some exciting games in the Nate Oates tenure, but for that game, number one, just the score, but the back and forth, the ebbs and the flows, the scoring output, the individual performances that you got. Wow. Was that probably the most entertaining, exciting Alabama game you've ever seen?
It was up there. I did another interview yesterday, and they asked me the same question. And the game that came to mind for me was 2022, the Phil Knight Invitational, when Alabama went out to Oregon and they beat North Carolina. That was number one at the time, and that was a 4 overtime game, and that was Caleb Love for North Carolina and Mark Sears, who had just joined Alabama, and they were just going back and forth for 4 overtimes, and obviously, beating the number one team in the country. I don't think Alabama had done that in a while before that, and I think they did it the next week because I think they went down to Houston and beat the number one team the following week. So that game is probably the best one that I've seen start to finish. This game, had a lot of dramatics, and it was certainly up there, but not quite to that level of that four overtime game for me.
Hey, Mike, Damien here, filling in for Pat and Conrad. I'm the utility infielder around here. I just wanted to know your thoughts on Alabama as they, wrap up the season. What are some of the things that they need to be aware of if they want to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, right now they're in good shape, I would say, for getting a double bye in the SEC tournament, and they're tied for second place. They're in the top 4 teams right now as it stands, and they probably have the easiest schedule of any team that they're competing with for a double bye. Obviously, they're going to be favored in at least 4 of their last 5 games, starting with LSU tomorrow and then Mississippi State and also Georgia and Auburn. It's really the Tennessee game on the road that's the question, but other teams that they're competing with have harder games. And I think Tennessee and Vandy still have to play twice. So there's going to be a couple losses to go around there. So I think, barring something surprising, you're talking about an Alabama team that's probably going to go into the SEC tournament having won 9 of 10, maybe 10 of 10. 10-game winning streak going into the tournament, would be big, and that gives you the double bye. And then it's just a matter of, what seed do you draw? And honestly, it's probably a question of, do you get Florida in the semis or do you get Florida in the championship game? So, in order to have all that happen, I think they need to improve on defense. We saw that against Arkansas. Rebounding is an issue at times. It really depends on who the opponent is and kind of what the strength is. And, you need to shoot the ball well, which has been something they've done, pretty well recently. Probably not as well from the 3-point line as they did against Arkansas as they did in previous games. But if they can do that, then they're going to be a tough team to beat. There's been teams that kind of keep Alabama down for a little bit. We saw that with Ole Miss. We saw that with Oklahoma. We saw that with Mississippi State. We saw that with Auburn. We saw that with Arkansas. But it's hard to do it for 40 minutes, or it's hard to do it for 50 minutes in Arkansas's case. So it's going to be a tough out for anybody who's playing Alabama. And then it's a matter of if you can go the distance in the SEC tournament. I think you're putting yourself in a really good spot for probably a 3 seed. Maybe you're pushing a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. But even if you don't, you're still in a good spot, I'd say, at a 4 seed or a 3 seed, and then kind of seeing what happens from there.
Hanging out with Mike Rodak, covers the Alabama Crimson Tide, a part of Bama 247. All of our guests, including Mike, join us on the Higginbotham hotline. We got the committee chair, Keith Gill, and a quote from him asking about Charles Bediako and how the selection committee will value the games that he played for Alabama. Gill said, quote, "Those games do count. You have to decide how you're going to count them. The committee will apply our normal player availability process," end quote. Mike, any surprise? Was there nervous anticipation awaiting some kind of comment from the NCAA from the Alabama side?
No, I think that's obviously in line with what you'd expect. And they kind of have an insider in the room anyway, with Greg Byrne being on the committee. I believe this is his last year in the committee. It's a 5-year cycle, but he's on the committee. So anything that's said in there is, he's going to be aware of. Now, he does have to recuse himself from Alabama discussions, but I doubt this was much of a surprise, to them. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of in line of what you would expect them to say. It's just like the college football playoff. Like, Ole Miss doesn't have their coach anymore. The college football playoff is not going to tell the committee what to do. It's just saying, here's the reality. Like, consider it. You're allowed to consider that. So in this case, the committee is allowed to consider that Alabama doesn't have Charles Bediako and that they won 3 games without him, and how much weight each committee member assigns to that is really up to them. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to impact them very much. Maybe if there's a tough call between 2 teams or 2 seeds, maybe that flips it in a different direction. But I just have a hard time seeing anybody in the committee room saying, all right, they had Bediako for 3 wins, and we're going to drop them down 2 seed lines for that. Like, I don't anticipate that. So it's, again, kind of in line with what you'd expect. And, we'll have to see what happens. But right now, if I'd say they're probably between a 5 and a 3 seed. I think that's kind of in their range right now, and it just kind of depends on what happens these last 5 games and then what happens in Nashville.
Yeah, and Mike, to the Bediako discussion and what the committee said, and I've heard this argument, and you're kind of splitting hairs because you have the limited sample size. But if you get the Aiden Sherrill that you got the other night, couldn't we make the argument that Alabama and Nate Oates are better without Charles Bediako?
Well, he's made that argument. In fact, he's talked about it a couple times where the analytics from the games without Bediako are actually better for a lot of players than with him. And he said it's not because of Bediako. And at the end of the day, yes, Bediako was an upgrade from Noah Williamson, and that's still an area of concern. It's a hole in their roster, but other players maybe stepped up without Bediako, both before and after, than when they had him. And maybe there's a mental aspect of we have him and we don't have to do as much ourselves. And that's kind of what Nate pointed to when he's talked about it. So, yes, I mean, that's been backed up. I mean, this is, at the end of the day, this is an Alabama team that beat Illinois in Chicago back in November. Illinois is probably a 1 seed. This is an Alabama team that beat St. John's. They beat Clemson. They haven't had kind of the signature SEC wins, but that's because the SEC is not nearly as top heavy as it was last year. So, beating Kentucky looks better than it did at the time. Obviously, beating Arkansas is big. And look, Arkansas, they're good. That's a team that, if you ask me right now, who's better, Arkansas or Alabama, I might lean towards Arkansas. And they're still better in the Ken Palm. They're better in net, I believe. So that's a good win to have on your resume. And, all those games were won without Bediako. So, at the end of the day, it's still a good team, even without him.
Yeah, Mike, and kind of looking at just the way Alabama is constructed, can you just how can you emphasize how important Amari Allen is to this Alabama basketball team?
Yeah, I mean, he's been quite a find for a guy that wasn't rated super high as a freshman. And I guess that's our fault for sites like 247, maybe undervaluing him. But, Nate Oates, I guess, saw the value in him, and Nate's from Wisconsin. I think maybe he has a little bit of an inside track when it comes to a guy who's from there, as Allen is from Green Bay. And he's big and he rebounds. And that was, it's kind of been their saving grace in some games, is Amari Allen as a rebounder. Because they're not necessarily getting it all the time from other players. And you look at the first half of that Arkansas game, yes, they were down 10, but I think I looked, Allen had 9 rebounds at halftime, and then he got a double-double pretty early in the second half. And he wasn't shooting the ball great. I think he went 6 of 15, if I remember correctly, 2 of 8 from 3 in this past game, but there has been games where he's shot it well. He has the ability to shoot from 3. He has the ability to kind of go down low and put the ball up, which they did really well against Arkansas. Arkansas was really defending the 3-point line. They did a good job of that, but that allowed the paint to be open, and Alabama took advantage of that. They drew fouls, and all those fouls eventually added up. And that's probably what won Alabama the game, was the foul trouble that Arkansas got into, and Allen was a big part of doing that. So, great player to have as a freshman when, sometimes teams aren't valuing freshmen, especially 4-star freshmen, as much as they used to.
All right, Mike, I got to get a football question, and this is just a general because we have the way too early lists that are coming out as we still haven't completely digested who's on whose roster. But next year, 2 teams that were mentioned as repeat offenders for the college football playoff field out of the SEC, Oklahoma and Texas A&M. Which one of those teams most likely to go back? Or neither?
Right. I lean towards A&M. I don't necessarily love Marcel Reed as a quarterback. I think he still needs to kind of grow into it a little bit more. I don't love John Mateer either, though. So I don't know. That's an interesting question. I think A&M at the end of the day is probably a little bit more talented. Oklahoma's defense is good. They have, lost some guys. A&M's lost guys. I think A&M has the most guys at the combine of any team. They have 13. So you can make an argument either way. I haven't really thought of that question, but I would lean towards A&M in this case, and we'll have to see. I mean, that game in Tuscaloosa in October is going to be big. for both sides and kind of which direction the rest of the season goes.
Loaded question. You said you didn't love those guys. Do you love Byron Brown?
No.
Okay.
I don't. And maybe I'm just biased because I've seen him twice now when he's played against Alabama. And that second game, the one in Tuscaloosa early in the 2024 season, just missed some dudes. Like there were some guys open down the field and he just missed them. And I know he's obviously gotten better since. That was, a year and a half ago, but I don't know. We'll see.
Accuracy, I think that would be one of the things that the NFL scouts want to see him improve on in 2026 against some better competition. And so, I mean, they play good competition, but yeah, he's got to refine himself.
The thing is, like all these quarterbacks, this was not a deep quarterback class in the draft. And a lot of these guys, if they were complete products or anywhere close to it, they would have gone into the draft. And that kind of indicates to you like Mateer coming back and Brown, and there's a bunch of dudes that came back to school. And even with a thin draft class, like it kind of shows you kind of where they're at. And obviously, I'm sure money plays a role in that. But the SEC is just going to be a question of how do these quarterbacks perform? It's right down the list of question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. And kind of, I think how that shakes out is going to be dependent on the quarterbacks.
I think the easier question for you, Mike, is it going to be Keelan Russell or Austin Mack?
Oh, it's not an easy one. It's we'll see that.
You don't have to answer that one.
We'll see. It's going to take a while, I think, to figure that one out.
Hey, Mike, we always appreciate the time. Thank you, and get on that Georgia.
I will. I'll let you know how it goes.
All right. Mike, enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
Mike Rodak does a wonderful job. He's our friend. Covers the Alabama Crimson Tide, a part of Bama 247 on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, HR services. Discuss some of the things that Mike just told us. Also, the rest of the bracketology, what the latest looks like for the rest of the SEC. Is it 9? Is it 10? Possibly 11? We'll get to it next on 3-Man Front. 11:21, Mike Rodak joining us. Bama 247. Alabama taking on LSU. LSU with only 2 conference wins. It feels like that they said, you know what? We'll worry about basketball later. Let's make sure everything else is tidied up, like football, baseball, softball, gymnastics, women's basketball. That poor old guy coaching the men's basketball team.
He's having a tough one.
He's having a really tough one.
He has a tough one.
We get that one at 5 o'clock tomorrow from the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. You can find tickets right now as low as $10, which is not a big surprise there. What do you think if I set the over under 5,000 fans inside of Maravich, you think it's more or less?
I'm going to take the under. I think they're done.
Will Lane Kiffin be courtside?
Of course.
He can't miss an opportunity, can he?
No, absolutely not. He'll probably say roll tide.
You think so?
He'll try to work. You
think Coach Saban will be with him?
No.
He's the one that sold him on going to LSU?
Nah. If it was in Coleman, maybe.
Maybe so. Latest bracketology is out. Auburn, according to ESPN and their latest bracketology, they have dropped 2 spots. They're now a 10 seed, and they would face off against Villanova. Alabama, meanwhile, a 4 seed, as Mike said, though, projected somewhere between a 5 and a 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think 4 is kind of the sweet spot, but 3, when you look at the 3 seeds that are out, I think that's gettable. You got Texas Tech topping out with the injury, right?
Yeah.
That's got to affect a committee decision. Kansas.
Depends if Darren Peterson wants to play or not.
It does, and that's frustrating.
Yep. Business decisions at, 18? Goofy.
Yeah.
Goofy. But it's the nature.
Well, you're getting paid.
I know
it's college basketball is a business. How much are you getting, man?
But still, it's just the competition. I am the best. Let me go out here and show you I'm the best. At least that would be my mindset. But I understand when you're getting paid that much, I kind of get it.
The other 3 seeds, Florida and Gonzaga. Florida feel like they're just moving on up. They're George and Wheezy.
Yeah. They're starting to hit their stride at the right time. And I think, and to be honest, yeah, Alabama took a tough loss down there, but I don't think that they'll play as bad as they have. Like, they haven't played as bad as that game since then. But also, Florida kind of proved that, hey, we ain't here to play around. So I honestly feel if we had to pick an SEC school right now that could win it, I would pick Florida hands down, because I think where they're starting to hit, it can be insurmountable if they start to catch some heat as the tournament continues to move on.
Well, they got the size, they got the length, and they've got the length that can shoot, and then they have, whether it's I'm trying to pronounce his name,
I know you're talking about Chinwoo.
Yeah. They've just got those role players. The biggest difference, though, last year is what they got with an Iona transfer and Walter Clayton.
True.
Because there was a lot to Walter Clayton, what I see, and I think he's better. Darius Acuff.
Yeah.
But that mentality, that game's on the line, just give it to me.
Yep.
I've been making these shots my entire life.
Yeah.
I don't miss these shots.
And I think another thing with Florida, too, is it's so interesting how the SEC has looked, because I think early on it was, okay, Florida, like Texas A&M at one point in time was sitting at the top of the conference. But I don't think a lot of people felt confident that they would continue to keep that rolling.
There's some smoke and mirrors.
Right. Whereas Florida was, okay, we're facing a lot tougher competition to start things off, and we're kind of feeling it out. But now, since they're starting to hit their roll, it's the best thing about college basketball is really you want to be playing your best basketball February going into March. And I think Florida's starting to get to that point.
Florida was that team where you had a lot of the same parts. You had some new pieces, but they were still in that hangover, I think.
Right. Coming
into the year. And with these non-conference tournaments and elite programs like a Florida, you're going to play a lot of those elite teams early. And then you find some of those teams early kind of start playing with your food a little bit, going through the motions. I think the Auburn game is exactly what they needed, because you saw how they responded after that.
Absolutely. And kind of to Auburn's credit, I think that win makes you question why has it gotten off the rails like the way that it has, because if you can go down there to a place that you hadn't won since 02, 03, and then ever since that win you haven't really found your footing again. That's what's so puzzling about Auburn moving forward. It's, man, how can you go down there and beat the reigning national champions and still can't figure it out since then? It's just been a weird season for the SEC.
It's been a weird season for the Auburn Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the 1 seeds. They played all of them except for one.
Yeah.
In the non-conference.
Right. So like
they
that's the
beat us
thing.
St. John's.
And that's the thing too. It's the committee is kind of telling you that we're taking who you've played into an account, but you can't have the Mississippi State type losses. Like you got to win those games, and we're giving you kind of some grace of, hey, you've had a murderous row, and also the conference has gotten better, but also you can't afford the loss like Mississippi State, where it's, man, like how can we give you credit for the Florida win, but then you can't give us answers for the Mississippi State loss?
Well, you can hang on so long to, we played a tough schedule and look how competitive we've been in these games. But then when you have the Vanderbilt game where you don't show up and that starts to unravel, you go to Arkansas, naturally that's going to be tough anyways, but you get beat by double digits. Then you come back, you're in a must-win situation against a team that's won, how many conference games? They're not the best of the SEC. Mississippi State, they got one player. It's Josh Hubbard.
Right. And everybody else just figuring it out.
And Jabari McGee, I love you. He comes off the bench, played at UAB. But that's what they have. And then you saw an Auburn team. It's like, okay, well, this is an Auburn team that they have the defensive lapses. They get in the hole. But they come back. Not only do they overcome an 18-point deficit.
They have a lead.
Then you go up by 7.
Yep.
You go up by 7 under 3, and you get beat by 6?
It's so puzzling because we talk about, basketball is a game of runs, but for Auburn too, one, the way that they play, and I made this comparison early on in the season.
They help people make runs.
Exactly. Like they don't have enough, especially in 3-point shooting. Nobody outside of Keyshawn Hall and Tahad Pettiford, you are worried about scoring. Like it is, okay, if Keyshawn Murphy decides, to get 10, 12 points, okay, cool. If Freeman gives you something, like if you stop Keyshawn Hall and Tahad Pettiford, you are not worried about anybody else beating you if you're playing Auburn. But now if they get hot, then you have to take that into account. But I think defensively too, it's, man, when you start to give up those runs, you have to find a stop, because there was a period of time against Mississippi State, you could see Auburn starting to chew back. They're climbing back. But then it's one shot here, and now you find yourself either tied or the other team takes the lead, and you just can't overcome that. Like it's just, there's such a puzzling team because athletically they can match up with anybody. It's just they don't have a true scoring threat outside of Hall and Pettiford.
This latest bracketology, Texas would be a 9 seed. You got Tennessee as a 5 seed. Vandy is a 5 seed. Kentucky is a 6 seed. Missouri sneaks in at number 11. They would be part of one of those play-in games against USC and cheddar bacon lasagna, which would be fun. Also, I mentioned Auburn. They fall to a 10. You still have, I believe, Arkansas is there at the 5. Bama, as we mentioned, at the 4. Who am I missing? Texas A&M is the 10 seed right now, just for bracketology purposes. Yeah, they're matched up. This is in the Oklahoma City regional. That would be Utah State that they would match up with as a 7 seed. Unfortunately, if that held true, you've got Illinois that would be taking on Troy out of the Sun Belt. But that Illinois team, Rocco said, is the biggest college basketball team he's ever seen.
Really?
6'11", 6'10".
They're towering down there.
Yeah.
Well, up there, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I got some big dudes. And they can shoot it.
Yeah.
But a quality win for NATO. It's in the Alabama Crimson Tide. But
you'll take
Illinois playing pretty good basketball.
They are.
So for the SEC, 10?
I think 10.
With Auburn being the team that falls off?
More than likely.
Right now, you got to bet Auburn in or out. Just given the rest of their schedule. They got 5 games left.
I know. I say out.
I say out too.
I say out. It's just that
how do you believe in that team, what you've seen?
Right. And again,
last 5 games.
That's the tough part. It's, man, if that Mississippi State game, not going to say it didn't happen, but if you won that game, I feel different on how the rest of them go.
100%.
At least, okay, yeah, you got Keyshawn Hall back. He does exactly what he usually does, gives you over 25, and again, it's still not enough.
The thing that bothers you if you're an Auburn fan, you knew it was a must-win game. You knew that you were the better team, and you still went out there and found a way to lose.
But you have opportunities. You have opportunities to get back into the mix of things, but it's just hard to feel confident that they're going to get it done because of how bad it's looked.
Yeah. It's not looking good for the Canadian men's hockey team. They've trailed Finland 2-1 as they play in the third period. Still 17+ minutes left in that one. United States coming up in their semifinal matchup shortly after 2 o'clock local time. Coming up next, got a surprise for you, D.
Okay.
I think it's going to be great. We're going to welcome the newest addition to the Jocks family. You excited?
I have a feeling I will be.
All right. Not too excited.
Remain neutral, like Marcus Mariota.
Sure. Switzerland.
That too.
30-man front continues on Jocks. Special moment here on 3-Man Front. So glad that we could share this together for 2 years. My Jocks career, I got to spend every single morning with one Damian Mitchell. We watched many a sunrise.
We did.
Here in the studio.
We did.
Yep.
It's been fun.
And now we're sending you off.
Where am I going?
You have told the dating scene goodbye.
I have
told potential suitors goodbye. You have the love of your life. And She joins us now. I think we're ready.
Oh boy. Well, I just started.
Taylor?
Singing.
Hello.
Oh boy.
Taylor Brooke Akins, not only Damien's fiance, but also a wonderful American hero, one of the great, fearless men and women, the warriors who protect our country every day. Pride of Birmingham Southern there on the hilltop. Yeah, Panthers.
Forward ever.
But also a Black Hawk helicopter pilot.
You better believe it.
Taylor, welcome to Jocks. So glad to finally get to meet you. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Thanks for joining us.
She sounds so professional.
All right, if I ask you any questions, it's out of fascination. I'm fascinated and just in awe of what you do. Thank you for your service first and foremost. But have you blown anything up today?
I have not blown anything up today except for an Excel spreadsheet. So,
Okay.
so far, so good.
All right. So we wanted to just get the audience familiar with you two. This is great that you two have connected. I want to get just a little bit of history before we move on to the next thing. You guys, did you date when you were both at Birmingham Southern?
Lord.
We did not date at Birmingham Southern.
No.
Really?
No.
So he has already said that he was a football player and he practiced school every now and then. You were more serious from what I hear about your studies.
Exactly.
So how did we rekindle?
So we had mutual friends in school. I don't know if he's told you this much. And we met just before I graduated. So I'm the year ahead of him. And he actually saw me in the cafeteria. And his first words to me were, "You go here?" Because he couldn't believe that I had gone to school and we hadn't met each other.
You're a stud.
You better believe it.
You go here?
And that's
Casanova right there.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Keep
And
going.
then we kind of connected on socials and then got together a couple years after I graduated and about a year after he graduated and became friends.
Awesome. So you guys have set the date and you're excited about your new life together, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
very
interesting.
excited.
It's a big step.
It is.
And we want to make sure that you're both ready. So Molly and I have actually thrown some things together. This is a productive exercise, and we just want to make sure that everybody's on the up and up
Oh boy.
before. That's right.
Is that the
We
Mickey Mouse
join hands
Clubhouse song?
before God, make this vow, and spend the rest of our lives together. This is what we call Know Your Spouse. Everybody good with this? Everybody comfortable with this?
Let's do it.
All right, so
Let's do it.
Taylor, you don't know the questions. I've given the questions to Damien. He has note cards. We have the questions for you. We have some questions that are specific for Damien. He has written down what he thinks you're going to say, not only for your answers, but what he thinks you're going to say about him, right?
Mhm.
That makes sense, right? So
Okay.
all you have to do
Exactly.
is just answer the question. These are going to be for you, though, and we're going to see how Damien responds. Are we ready?
Stay ready.
Sure.
All right, Taylor. Number one, what is your favorite color?
Oh, starting off easy, orange. We
All
have
right.
the same favorite color.
Ah,
So Damien,
yeah.
he's showing
Got
it
that
there.
one. I got that one 100% correct. I got that one 100% correct. Knew that one.
He's written down
Easy.
orange.
Starting off strong.
All right. Number two. Molly, you keeping score?
I sure am.
All right. Celebrity crush. Who would Damien's celebrity crush be?
Janae Aiko. He might lie and say no one, but he's obsessed with her.
Let me see it.
That is correct.
There it is.
That is,
All right, you're 2 for 2.
That is correct.
Well, this is good news for you, Damien.
Yeah, she knows.
Who is Damien's best friend besides you?
Okay, I was about to say, he's going to be sappy and say me, but besides me, either Kerrigan Pennington or his mom.
I went the cheesy route. I did put you, Pookie, as my best friend.
I knew
Because
it.
you are. Because you are.
Pookie. Ugh.
Thank you.
Well, that goes to nickname. So are you Pookie?
She is Pookie.
What is your nickname? What is your nickname for him?
He has a bunch of different nicknames.
Yeah, we know.
Now she calls me Poot. Poot and Pookie.
You're
Okay.
3 for 3 right now.
Hey.
Heaven forbid you guys get out okay. All right? Let's just throw that out there.
Oh,
You're
gosh.
okay. But one thing that you think Damien, besides you, would try to save in a house fire.
So I was gonna say the cheesy answer because he's cheesy would be me. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe a wave brush.
We'll see how Damien answered.
I went. Yeah, she knows me well. I went the cheesy route. I put her.
You went her.
Because I would.
Well, that should be your answer.
Exactly.
I guess
I don't
should
think
have
it's cheesy. I don't
clarified.
think it's cheesy. It's a fact.
No, it's not. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
But it would probably be either my do-rag or my brush, though.
This is going to be a problem because he's not seen many movies, and this is something I learned in the 2 years. Where the first time he saw Christmas Vacation, Taylor, was in my house. We watched it together.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. So you're going to have to work on that when you guys are together every single day. Favorite movie? What is Damien's favorite movie?
Okay. His favorite TV show is definitely Power Rangers, but I don't think he was that crazy about the movie. He loves Batman, but if I had to go like of all time favorites, I'm gonna go old school Disney. Maybe like the OG animated Lion King.
She knows me well.
All right, Lion King, you got it. That's another good one.
It's the Lion King. It's the
You
Lion
put
King.
Lion King?
She knows me well.
If you put her for this, you're done. What is Damien's
He's bald.
favorite dessert?
Oh my goodness. Definitely not key lime pie.
Inside joke.
I'm gonna say red velvet cake.
All right.
That would be correct. That would be correct.
You're
Easy.
6
These
for
are
6 right
easy.
now.
She know me. She love me.
What is Damien's biggest fear?
Again, probably going to be something cheesy like not being enough or messing this up or
Hey,
something
Taylor,
about us
how about the
not
deep
working
end
out.
of a pool?
Oh, yeah. We're working on that, though.
Please get him to swim.
We are working on it.
Goodness gracious.
Honeymoon plans.
Okay, awesome. I love
Swimming
hearing
lessons.
that. Love, you're going to make him so much better in so many ways.
I know it. But the correct answer is losing her.
Oh, my gosh. Come on, man.
I mean, she's even cutting through it. She's like, give me a break, man.
Hey, man, this is where my heart is.
Golly.
At least you're honest.
Exactly.
Well, this would kind of go in line with his answers and being cheesy. This is easy. Everybody knows who listens to Jocks. His favorite musical artist.
Ooh. He has a bunch. So I think one of his teachers in high school put him on, but he's pretty into Celine Dion. His actual first dance with his mom at our wedding is supposed to be to a Celine Dion song. He loves Lil Wayne. That's like undisputed. But then he's a big bro country guy, which I'm also working on.
Oh,
But he loves Florida Georgia Line. We actually connected over him doing the Florida Georgia Line Fridays back in the day when we were in college on Snapchat.
Let's go. Let's go.
So maybe,
Let's
I don't know,
go.
Celine Dion, I don't know.
All of those are acceptable answers because I wrote every single one of them down because it's not. I mean, it's
guys.
obvious.
You
Florida
get
Georgia
3
Line.
check marks for that
Yeah,
one.
Florida Georgia Line, Lil Wayne,
Mm-mm.
Celine,
Oh
of
my
course.
gosh, that's so funny. You're so easy.
What is Damien's favorite clothing brand?
Clothing brand. I'm gonna say Nike. He wears a lot of Under Armour though.
That's
He
because
went Nike.
Yeah, I put Nike. We went Nike.
What is Damien highly allergic to?
Nuts. And I've tried to kill him a few times. on
Did you hear
accident.
about the time that he almost died up here on the weekend?
I have not heard about that.
So he got hungry, and this is before we had the Jocks Cafe. He had nothing to eat, and so he went into our coworker John Sabear's office. John had this big plastic tin or plastic jug of cashews. Damien's like, that looks exotic. I've never had a cashew. He eats one cashew and he almost dies.
I cooked for him with almond milk one time, and we were about to eat, and he happened to see it on the counter because I'm a big almond milk girl. And he was like, "You didn't make this with that, did you?" Sure did. Forgot he had an allergy.
Almost took me out, dog.
Yep.
Almost took me out.
That's why you be nice to her.
Of course.
All right. This is going to get kind of technical and tie back into you flying a Black Hawk.
Okay.
Which is taller? The AGM 114 Hellfire missile or your future husband?
Oh. Ooh, that's a good one. I think it's only like 3 or 4 feet tall. So I'm going to give it to Damien on this one.
Let's go.
You're really good. Damien is actually 67 inches tall. The average AGM 114 is listed at 64 inches tall. So you got 3 inches on that missile.
Ooh.
Good job.
I got it. Got it.
If the Black Hawk helicopter, if it represented your relationship, what part of the helicopter would Damien be?
Oh, God.
Oh, man. That is an interesting question. What part would he represent? Probably, I don't know. I'll say the tail rotor. Because without a tail rotor, it's hard to stay straight. So I feel like we're heading in a good direction.
Let's
Tail rotor's
go.
pretty important.
That's what I'm talking about, Pookie. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Just from the Taylor side of things, Taylor, I think you're in great shape. All right. At least one side of this marriage, you have already passed with flying colors. So you said your favorite color was orange. Go back through some of these. What is one thing that you would save in a fire, Taylor?
So we actually have done a couple of drills, carrying each other up and down the steps to make sure if one person's incapacitated, we could get him out, which is interesting and fun. So I would try to save him, but aside from him, I'm not super attached to things. So maybe our safe.
I knew
I
it.
have some like memorabilia from
Okay.
the Army, I might say.
All right. That sounds good.
That was the answer I put.
What is your most annoying habit you think he would say?
My most annoying habit?
Mm-hmm.
From his perspective, probably my OCD. I'm very OCD about like how I fold things, how I put things up.
Yes.
But I don't know. He's probably going to say nothing because he's cheesy. But
no, OCD's good, and I got some OCD to me too. I appreciate it. What did you put?
Nothing.
You didn't put anything. It's such a cop out. He's such a cop out.
What? She does everything flawless.
He's coming to town today, so he's kissing up.
Ah, I see. What is your least favorite household chore? But I know that you're regimented, so you probably don't even think about it. But what would it be?
My least favorite?
Yeah.
I don't love dishes. I like laundry, but I hate putting it up. So I guess I'd probably go dishes.
I put laundry.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
I put laundry.
Yeah, that's fair.
The
Who
dishes are for me.
is your celebrity crush?
I don't know if he knows this. When I was growing up, he does know this one. My celebrity crush growing up, like my whole childhood, was Chris Brown.
Okay.
But as of recent, I would say Aaron Pierre, that voiced Mufasa in the Lion King series.
Aaron Pierre. All right. We've tallied it up. You're definitely the stronger in the relationship. But Damien is going to be great. You teach him some of those things around the house. In no time, he'll be baking muffins and wearing an apron.
Oh, boy.
By the time you get home.
Oh, boy.
Yep, that's right. Hey, Taylor, in all seriousness, congratulations. Thank you, first and foremost, for your service and what you do for our country each and every day. So much respect for you and all the men and women who keep us safe. But also, on a personal note, so glad that you two got together and wish you guys nothing but the best. And great to meet you.
Thank you so much, and thanks for your support.
Thank you. That
Bye, baby.
Pookie.
Bye.
Pookie. That's it.
Pookie.
More three-man fronts. We continue. All right, thanks for indulging. The Taylor was great.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of responses on Damien and the Know Your Spouse quiz with his fiance, Taylor, who joined us from, can we say where she is?
Yeah.
Up in Fort Campbell.
Yeah, Fort Campbell.
And she's a Black Hawk helicopter pilot, Birmingham Southern grad, and the future bride of Mr. Damian Mitchell. But a lot, you are getting a lot. I knew you would.
Yeah, bro, like she's trained to kill.
205-834-9450 on that last segment if you didn't hear it. But somebody's saying that was the cheesiest soft serve ice cream emoji I've ever listened to. Bless Pookie. Pookie meaning bless Damien's future wife. And I think we can all say amen to that.
Amen. Amen.
Someone texting in, after hearing Pookie answer everything about D so flawlessly, I want to go home, give my wife a questionnaire, but anything less than a Taylor-like performance is going to make me question our relationship.
That was really impressive. I mean, I'm keeping score over here, and you got 100%.
Congratulations to you guys, Pooh and Pookie.
Pooh and Pookie, baby. Pooh and Pookie Christmas adventure. No, it's fun, man. That's my girl. Like, I don't care. Like, I love her, man. Like I said, she is trained. I need to stay on her good side as long as I possibly can. And that's going to be for life.
Damien playing the game to win the fiance, not the game. And then the follow-up text was 3 inches on that missile? Damien has 3 inches on the Hellfire missile.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're 67 inches tall. Hellfire missile spans 64 inches.
I got him.
It's got a little more sizzle to it. I'm going to be honest with you, though.
You know what to say? Big things in small packages.
More of your text. Making fun of Damien as we continue. 2-2, Canada, Finland semifinals. 5.5 minutes left in the third there. Are they going to go to another overtime? That's all we do in Milan. United States later on. Much more to come. Blake Lovell, our resident SEC basketball expert, he's going to tell you what happens this weekend. Next.